Writing is an exploration. You start from nothing and you learn as you go. Hello, Sparkle family, and welcome to a new series that I'm really excited to share with you guys. We are doing pep talks, okay? Because I don't know about you, but I will be in my house talking to myself, trying to hype myself up to do something. And although I actually am a pretty reliable narrator and I usually can get myself to that place, sometimes I really just need to phone a friend. But sometimes our friends are also busy living their life or trying to do the things that they also want to do. And so, got me thinking. People have told me I'm good at hyping them up, motivating them to get things done. And I was like, how can I use that to help more than just my inner circle? So, I'm just going to pick topics that I wish I had someone to hype me up about and share them with you guys. And I at first was going to write a script because sometimes, as a lot of you creators know, you can really lose the plot when you just go with the flow. But I just wrote myself like a little outline of things that I've been thinking about. And today's topic is going to be writing. That's, I feel like this can be a slippery slope, right? Because everyone has their own feelings about writing, how you should do it, what your practice should look like. And that's just what I've been struggling with lately. I want to write. But every single time, no matter how many ideas I have, and I have the ideas, I have a notebook full of ideas. I have friends now that work with publications. I have things to say, right? I have a Substack account that I write on. But when it comes down to putting a pen to a page, I can't even say it's writer's block because it's not writer's block. So I want to talk about that. There are a few things that I think can be really helpful in the world of writing when I sat down to really think about what can hype me up. So first of all, there's literally nothing wrong with you. If I've learned anything from doing research about writing, it's that most people who write, like to write, or have a writing project will come upon mountainous, if that's a word, moments of I can't get to the next place, or I don't know where I want my story to go, or a lot of times, which is where the realm that I'm living in right now, like I can't even get started. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna find some fun little tools to help us change our perspective, our mindset, and maybe the box that we've unintentionally put ourselves in with areas that we're struggling with in writing. This is obviously, disclaimer, personal, very personal to me, but I'm hoping that it will resonate with other people and that you can use it to help yourself in your artistic and creative journey. So, as I said, there's nothing wrong with you. One thing that I want to point out is gentle honesty is very important, especially with character development, artistic development, and for example, is it writer's block or is it something else? Are you truly blocked, or maybe you just don't want to work on the project anymore? Sometimes, obviously, you can't just always drop a project, especially if it's by contract or you're being paid to do it. A client is having you make it for them. But if it's something that you have just started to write it, I would prompt you to ask yourself, maybe you can just hit pause or stop. This is where the gentle honesty comes in, and work on something else. It could be that maybe the thing that really lit up your fire on this topic before has kind of shifted. We are always changing, and our writing, as I said in the opening quote, right? Writing is an exploration. You start from nothing and you learn as you go. That's entangled with discovering ourselves as people, and we are always changing as people. So sometimes you'll start writing about something and you'll find this doesn't resonate with me the same way that it did before. And there's nothing shameful about that, but it's okay to stop and go to something else, because then we get stuck in this trap of, why can't I write this? Right? So, gentle honesty. What is it that's keeping us from our desired outcome? If I'm being honest, if we're going to be vulnerable, I just need to have better systems to set myself up to write, because I have trouble just starting generally. And I'm going to get into a little bit more of why, but that's a little further down the list. So, second of all, practice or ritual is key. And I think this is something that as individuals, especially creatives, we all need to just hear until we're sick of hearing it, and then keep hearing it some more. Practice makes you good at what you do. Hours put in, when you see someone, like when you're scrolling on Reels and you see someone who's super talented, and you see them, they're playing piano, right? They're going hard. You've never seen anything like it in your life. And it inspires you so much. You're like, I'm going to go and play piano now. I want to do that. And, it's been maybe, let's say, 5 months of you doing it. And you're like, why can't I do that yet? But what you don't know is that person has been practicing for 3 hours a day since they were 7 years old. You literally cannot catch up at this point in your life to be like them. Like, you might be a prodigy and you learn really, 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 really quickly by imitating. But most people, you have to practice to develop a skill. That's the way, So relating that to other areas of where it's all like a web, right? With any motivation, but we're talking about writing right now. So maybe it's not writer's block. Maybe it's like me, you need a better system and you need to practice more, because also the more you do it, the better you get, right? The more you write, the more you're going to, like your writing. I can't speak for everyone. I can hear people in the comments being like, I hate my writing and it's been years. And I hope, babe, that you'll show yourself some love, because you deserve it. That's another point I want to make that I didn't write down. I really hope that you give yourself a chance to appreciate what you put into the world, what you write. Whether that is a poem, a short story, documentation of an event, whatever it is that brings that joy inside, I hope that you give yourself a chance to really enjoy that and like it and appreciate it and read it and say, wow, I can feel the heart that I put into this and I'm really proud of that. That's okay to say. And I also want to bring that back to the table in the creative world. You're allowed to be proud of what you make. And there's a fine line between bragging about something and just being proud of something you've put hours into. You know what I mean? So with the practice and ritual, making a plan is what sets people up for success. Like any other goal in your life, say that's fitness, say that's you're saving up to go on a trip. You're going to make a plan, right? Because you're going to look, you're going to say, I want to go to this place. It cost me this much to get there. The hotel costs this much. This is what I want to purchase when I'm there. This is how much food is going to cost. This is the number. Now, how am I going to get to that number? And you work backwards. It's the same for writing. Like, I encourage you to make a plan, but to remain flexible, right? It's a dance and it takes a long time to establish, but say you're like, okay, I am going to write a short story and it's been a while since I've written. I'm a little dusty. So I'm going to make myself a goal of writing 30 pages. And even that feels like a lot, right? But 30 pages, that's what I'm going to write. So you say, you know what? I'm going to break that down into a page a day. That's a month. In a month, you've written a short story. You know what I mean? And then it comes from, I'm not writing anymore, to I have a very clear goal. And like a page a day may even be too much. So break it in half. And then in 2 months, you've written a short story. You know? And half a page a day, or every other day, and then it's a little longer, but you get the gist, right? What feels comfortable to you? And don't set goals that are going to be like mountains to climb, that even writing it down, you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. If you feel that internally, just don't commit, babe. Just do something else. Find another way that works for you. The beauty of free will is that There are a billion people, and myself included, telling you ways that you can help your life and ways that you can build systems and get things done. But if you don't try the different things that you're hearing about and see if they resonate with you and fit into your life, then it's always going to feel like a dead end to you, you know? The tools are available to you. I just encourage you to experiment a little bit. Like, if something that I'm saying doesn't necessarily sound like something that would work for you, that's totally fine. Thanks for spending the time with me and listening to my perspective and what has helped me. But I encourage you to find the tips that help you to get the thing done, because that's the end goal, right? Everyone that puts a video out there that is of educational purposes, they want to help you get to your end goal. So it's not bad to hear someone give you advice or something that's worked for them. There's nothing wrong with you if that doesn't work for you. There's just another method that works for you. Like, this is kind of unrelated, but a random thing on topic is I don't have a dining room table in my house. Literally every room is an active craft or content workspace because that's my life. I have TV tables, and when I'm ready to eat, I'll just sit down somewhere with the TV table, or I'll like be in my kitchen and, just eat then. Because like, I don't need to have like my living room. I don't really have a living room. I kind of do now again, but if you know me and you've been in my space, it is constantly evolving. And I thought, why am I going to cater half of my apartment to other people when I need space to make what I'm making all the time, and I can host in places that aren't my house. So make those adjustments. And even if people side eye you when you're doing it and they're looking at you like, why are you doing that? Doesn't matter, babe. If it works for you, then that's what you're going to do. You know what I mean? So I'm going to encourage you to keep looking, especially if you haven't found that thing that sits right with you yet. The world is your oyster. So what do you want to write? That's the question that what do you want to write? Not even what do you currently write? What do you want to write? Without the first thing that comes to your mind, without filtering it. That's what I want to know. That's what I want you to be able to say. And if you're able to, maybe looking at things that you used to write, if you have access to that, or you kept those things. And I kind of wanted to share something with you guys that I luckily have held on to things from my childhood because my mom was really good at that. And one of the things, this is like one of the earliest diaries that I have. It's not very full. Look at her. But this is so funny because this is like still the problem I'm having. Okay, I'm 30 years old. Okay, you guys. And the problems that we have are so tied to who we are as people if we take the time to know it. Because I wrote this like before I could spell. I spelled diary, D-I-E-R-Y. And I wrote, I've been waiting to write in you for years, but I haven't wrote in you yet. But I know I like the pictures in the diary. I love you, diary. So I'm literally yearning to write before I even give myself a chance to write. And I'm putting off writing before I even knew that was like a thing I could do. And I just got a real kick out of that when I was looking for some inspiration, because I'm like, I'm still doing that. You have to learn who you are to make changes in your systems in your life. Because we change, but we also are the same for a lot of our life, Anyways, so that was early, but moving on to a different journal, kind of to prove my point here, I'm just writing about my life. Like, I wrote the family chronicles, and I'm writing about the trip that we're on, and I broke it down into days, and I'm just writing about what we're doing. So like documentary style, I put stickers in there, and I wrote where they were from and what we were doing. And so that's what I'm like naturally writing about, I of course have a bunch more diaries that are like personal inner thoughts, which is also really interesting to read. And if you have access to any of those things, I would encourage you to read those too, because when we're younger, we are much more available to access our unfiltered thoughts, and the things that we really want and desire. So anyways, I know this has become it's a pep talk entangled with life lessons and information that I've learned and things that I've read over the years and taken the time that have interested me and stuck with me. So I hope you're finding some of it helpful, but I hope you're also feeling uplifted. Two more points that I got for you guys. Make it fun. Make it, if that means like making your environment fun or whatever that means to you, make the process fun so that you're not dreading it. That was the other thing I was going to talk about is conditioning. I know part of the pushback in my brain is just from being like forced to write in school about random topics that I didn't really care that much about. And sometimes when I think I'm going to write today, I can feel myself snapping into that, oh, I have to write today kind of mindset. And it's unlearning that. I think a lot of us, if we just naturally wanted to write, we probably didn't have a lot of interest in writing about the random things we had to write about. And I'm not saying there wasn't value in doing that at the time for learning structure, learning how to research, learning how to put together thoughts into something that other people could digest. But, you're not just able to do that about whatever you want. You could easily do those things about a topic you are interested in. So I think this comes back to radical honesty and reflection and knowing ourselves, knowing what we believe about ourselves, what we believe about writing in that process, and what we continue to believe. What are we cycling in our thought process, and how can we remove those thoughts? So I'm going to give you guys some homework with this pep talk. Get to know yourself a little bit. Write down what you want to write about. And then make a plan to write about that thing in the next 3 months. Whatever that is. So whatever you can accomplish in the next 3 months. And then let me know below what it is. Share it with me, please, if you will, if there's like a link or anything like that. But yeah, so I hope you guys liked this video. If you're struggling to write, just know that I see you, I hear you, and you can do it. Go set a timer and do it right now. I'm waiting. And I'll see you guys in the next pep talk.